across the board, it seems to be uniform that your personality is either revealed or has changed.
Well, of course, it's impossible to ever respond to your last point about unnamed sources.
Right.
But if you get me into specifics, we'll always just I will start with that. I mean, for the past 3.5 years, every month, not only cabinet reviews, but we do cap stats with my cabinet directors. As I mentioned, the walkthroughs. Just yesterday, Councilmember Muriel Bowser and I took a walk up 14th Street. At that meeting, DCRA director, DDOT director, DPW.
Oh yeah,
director.
Linda Argo from DCR. I think the public is what I'm really more interested in, because the public who doesn't.
I didn't want to leave the impression, which could have stood out there from your question, that my agency directors.
3 of them have raised that with me, 3 separate ones. But again, I'm really more interested in the public, because that's the public who's going to vote for you or against you.
So we've established that we're getting a lot of things done. So I think, to your more general point, I really do think that your question answered your question, because you started out by saying it. I mean, we're taking on issues that aren't just tough. We're taking on issues that are intrinsically not politically popular. I mean, when I first decided to take over the school system, I had one big city mayor say, "God bless you, Fenty. I would never do that." And this is a mayor who said, you know what I mean? He was a very good mayor. And when I really look up to, I would never try anything like that. And that's just taking over the schools, let alone the decisions that Chancellery has made about consolidating schools, making employees at will, gutting these warehouses. And then, of course, if you look at any, tough issue we've made since then, be it decisions to take all the taxi cabs and put meters in them, or when something happens when government employees, be they in the small minority, do something that they shouldn't do, and we hold them accountable. These also are not politically popular decisions. The difference, I think, between a council member and an executive is, I'm the one making the tough
I think those are politically popular. I think people like the taxi cab. I like the people in general. But people will say to me, I don't want to just focus on the baseball ticket thing. But they just say, I mean, even people ask me about when you appeared on our show with Yang, and she asked you about the snow, they thought you were being dismissive of her. And people who don't have, someone who gets fired or in an agency, you've shaken up and changed, I understand their irritation. I'm just talking about a general perception of voters across the board who say they don't like your personality because they don't think you're the person they voted for.
Well, let me just...
and I'm saying every one of your public policy issues are...
Let me turn that question around for 1 second, because council members who sat with you on the city council said, we don't really know him that well because he didn't talk a lot when he was on the city council. Is it that you have not, in fact, changed at all, that Adrian Fenty was never the most garrulous person in the world, talking all the time, and that you feel that you are a doer rather than a talker, and this notion people have that you should be talking to everybody all the time is just not who you are?
Okay, so when I'm talking to people in the District of Columbia, okay, they know they have every right to talk to me about my personality. But when they talk to me, this is what they say. They say, Mayor Fenty, I want you to keep continuing fixing the schools. I want you to keep driving the crime rate down. I want you to keep renovating schools, libraries, recreation centers. Keep building new construction in the city. I want you to keep the population growing. I want you to keep fixing up hospitals like Greater Southeast. Keep reducing the backlog in the child welfare.
In other words, they don't say smile a lot more, call me up on the phone, shake my hand a lot.
They say deliver results, because that's what we elect.
The same people who agree with